got a comment coming in from Mr. HD. This is beautiful because this is the place where I live every day in regards to having people either not correctly take what I state, or of course they hear it through the proverbial lens of their fandom. Okay, what I stated the other day, and we went live as soon as the news broke that Josh Gattis was moving from Michigan to Miami. So we're on the Miami channel, we're on the Michigan channel, and I'm giving my opinion. This is what I stated. I stated you can look at this two different ways.
Okay.
Of course, the Miami fans chose to take the one path. I said you can look at this two different ways. You can have the perspective that this is a downgrade, because if you just look at the tangibles, the record, what is going on and what has gone on at the recent past, we're talking about a Big Ten championship team that finishes in the top 10 to 15 in the country, not just this past season, but over the Jim Harbaugh era. They have been consistently a 9-3, 10-2 team that is contended highly in the national rankings, just won a Big Ten championship, went to the playoff. Okay. Miami just went 7-5. That's been a fairly typical season for a Miami program that's been a 58% winner over the past 15 years. So if we're just looking at black and white in regards to the numbers, the tangibles, I said you could consider this a downgrade. Okay. I continued and said, or you could consider it a lateral move, because even though Michigan is the better team today, just today, and has been the better program and the better team over for the most part over the past 7 or 8 years under the current tenure of Jim Harbaugh, you could look at the upside of Miami in regards to recruiting, bringing in a first-rate coach in Mario Cristobal. Again, the recruiting footprint being what it is, has a much higher ceiling than what they enjoy there at Michigan, of course, because they've got to leave the state to go get most of their football team. I could say then if you put all that together, you could consider it a lateral move. But of course, not everyone listened to the complete answer that I gave.
Yeah, and that'll happen. That's like I was just talking with a friend of mine about when I was blogging about James Blackman as a recruit before he made his decision. That if you looked at him as a player, you could see 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, depending on what you focused on with that player. And that would have been just like, oh, well, you're saying that James Blackman is a 2-star and he doesn't deserve the scholarship at Florida State or anywhere. That it is like, no, there were some other things that were said, but you focus on the one part. So, yeah, I mean, and that makes sense. Yeah, on the way that you look at it. And yeah, 171 wins over the last 20 years, true. If you expand out the time horizon, correct. Right. Yes, indeed. If you're an impartial viewer, Mr. HD, you are Bob Jones from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, right? What program would you say, based upon the 2021 season, is better right now, based upon what you saw on the field last year? Not about who you want to be better, not about how things could potentially be trending, but the last time we saw them play football, right? Who would you say is the better program at present? The answer is the University of Michigan. And that's just a fact, right? And yeah, you can, and by extending it out the last 20 years, that changes the time horizon, that keeps in when Miami was actually good, and performing well on the field. But if you shorten that time horizon in the last decade, I don't think that it's going to be the same, and it's not crazy to say that they have been more successful than we have in the recent past, just because Miami has not been as successful as we want to be, right? So in terms of on-field performance last year, yes, you were stepping down from a team that went to the college football playoff to a team that didn't even win their division. That's a clear step down on the basis of the on-field results last year. But I think that Mark also made a clear case that it's a lateral move with, sounding to me, like potential to move forward, like I talked about as well. Oh, Lord Jesus. When you come to the University of Miami. That's it. Sorry, I spilled something on my shirt earlier. I just saw it.
I'm not trying to project the future. It could be a step up. And I even stated that it could be a step up. Michigan could continue to be a top 15 program, and there's nothing wrong with that. And certainly, and Miami could be elite in 2 or 3 years from now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just speaking to, and you could put the history of the two programs in different categories as well. We know that Miami's won 5 national championships since the early 80s, 1983, and Michigan's won 1, and Miami's had those just spurts of just greatest of all time type play, and Michigan has not really, other than 1997. But if you look at the entirety of the program over the entirety going all the way back to the beginning of time, Michigan, of course, is one of the pillars of the sport. So you can frame it up a number of ways.